What's good, UFC fans? This is the watch list for UFC 215. Johnson v. Borg. Jon Anik alongside Shelby and Mick Maynard. A lot of camera work for you guys these days. Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series. We got the Matchmaker box, and good to see you boys, obviously, for the watch list. And let's start at the top of the card. Demetrious Johnson splattered across the UFC record books already and trying to add to his legacy.
There's the top! Demetrious Johnson, one title defense away from UFC immortality!
He's the best. I'm telling you, that kid is the best.
As he takes on the top contender, Ray Borg.
Yeah, you know, I think Ray is falling under the radar. I know people aren't giving him a great chance in this fight, but I think they're overlooking him. Ray is young. First of all, he has incredible scrambling ability, great submissions, great wrestling. He's got the full package, you know. I mean, he obviously is very young in his career and, you know, age-wise, but I think he could give DJ a run for his money. It's going to be a fun fight.
Yeah, I agree. People sleeping on Ray Borg, go watch the tape. And his last win against Jussier Formiga in Fortaleza, Brazil, big performance on the road for him. So Ray Borg's won 5 of 6, getting his first UFC title fight coming up in Edmonton. All right, also getting her first UFC title fight, Valentina Shevchenko. Hopefully she gets it this time around. Nunes v. Shevchenko II here, and we all know what happened at UFC 213. Hopefully that becomes a distant memory and they close the octagon door behind these two women.
Feels like Groundhog Day. But this time, I think I'm putting my money on this fight happening. It's such an interesting fight because of the first go-around. They went 3 rounds, and Shevchenko is notoriously a slow starter.
Right.
And you know, I feel that she gave up those first 2 rounds in their first fight. And by the 3rd round, she's hitting on all cylinders, and she looked phenomenal. So, you know, she loses the first 2 and wins the 3rd. Now we got a 5-round fight. I think that changes the complexion of everything, because Amanda's notoriously a quick starter, and Shevchenko's notoriously, you know, really fast ender. You know, she does great in the longer the fight goes.
Right. Nunes and her camp, they have so much respect for Valentina Shevchenko, and ultimately that's why they didn't make the walk. They felt like Nunes was 40-45%, and they don't feel like that's good enough to beat Valentina. We'll see if she's closer to 100% on September 9th. Also on this fight card, Gilbert Melendez, featherweight debut, and he'll look to get on track here against Jeremy Stephens.
He's obviously a super veteran. He's dropping down to 45, and he's taken on immediately right out of the gate a top 10 guy.
Right.
And Jeremy Stephens, immensely powerful, maybe the biggest puncher at 145. So I expect fireworks. You know, Jeremy always comes out throwing fastballs. You know, and Jeremy did it, and it worked out really well for him. And he was able to carry that power down to featherweight. So it'll be interesting to see if Gil can do the same.
It's a good one here. The former UFC lightweight champion Rafael dos Anjos. So far, so good at 170. The big win against Tarek Saffiedine. Magny is now healthy, and he draws RDA in Edmonton.
Yeah, what's interesting about this is that, you know, we obviously have the fight with Tyron Woodley and Damian Maia. There was some question, you know, Tyron Woodley's, you know, Dana made it public that Tyron was fighting on this card. And Maia wasn't initially sure if he could do it. Well, the guy waiting there for that fight was RDA. He had already accepted the fight with Tyron, had Maia not been able to do it.
Wow.
So he's been ready to go, and he's chomping at the bit. He wants to fight every single week. And I said, hey, this didn't work out, but I'll try and get you back in something fun as soon as possible. He's like, yeah, keep me on speed dial. And these days, you know, and you've got Magny, who just said, hey, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
He texted me, I'm healthy, and I just texted him back. I said, hey, how about RDA in Edmonton? Immediately, he's like, I'm in, let's do this.
Great.
And the fight came together in literally 5 minutes, and that doesn't happen anymore. You know, so I like the matchup. It's the former champion at 155, top 15 guy, trying to work his way up against Magny, who's, you know, a phenomenal fighter, and he's looked good for the last year and a half, except for the injury. So, yeah, I'm really happy with it.
No, well done on that matchup, and Rafael dos Anjos just excited that he never has to look down at the scale and see 155 pounds as long as he lives. All right, finally a fight, I believe originally slated for UFC 214, as I read this morning at least. Sarah McMann, she's won 3 in a row, taking on the undefeated Ketlen Vieira out of Manaus, Brazil. Your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, Ketlen's still, I believe, a little bit of an unknown. I think that first fight in the UFC, you have to throw out completely. I know she had, if you watch her fights in Brazil, she was a completely different fighter. And then she's looked good since then, you know, and I just don't know where the ceiling is with her yet. You know, she has good judo skills, good Brazilian jiu-jitsu skills, and very aggressive standing. And then, of course, you know, you have McMann, who's a super veteran. I mean, what can't you say about her? She's a great wrestler, boxer. They're somewhat mirror images of each other, highly aggressive standing, and they are accomplished grapplers in their own right. So, yeah, I think it's going to end up being more of a stand-up battle. But Sarah, all she says these days is she's just like, I just want to stand there and throw down.
Wow.
And it's obvious, you know, when she fights, and Ketlin's that way too.
McMann, just the confidence is on a totally different level than it was in 2014.
Yeah, there's something different about her now. Just the way she carries herself, I think it's a little bit different. And I think just the confidence, she's beaming with it. So it'll be interesting to see. And that's really, I feel it's recent, you know.
I agree.
Within the last year, she's just, something about her psychologically is just kind of on a different level now.
Yeah, and physically, her current form, the best of her UFC career by a mile.
Yeah,
So.
I want those arms.
Oh, I'm telling you. I said on my podcast, I was like, you know what Sarah McMann would do to me if I was in there with her for 60 seconds? Probably wouldn't last a minute. Right. So that's it for the UFC 215 watch list. You can see it on Pay Per View September 9th from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. With that, for Mick, Maynard, and Shelby, I'm Jon Anik. We will see you right back here before UFC 216. Enjoy.